data is our DNA. Data is a core part of what we do every day. And we have an incredible group of folks that are just brilliant about finding ways to leverage that data to do new and interesting things. A great group of data scientists, a great group of application developers who take and build incredible data products. But incredible data products are really about the use of that data. The management of it in the background is an incredible challenge. And at Capital One, what we're doing is at a scale that is much bigger than two people with spreadsheets.
Exactly.
And it takes a lot of tools to make that happen. For example, on a daily basis, my team manages about 12,000 different data feeds on the inbound side, publishes to somewhere in the neighborhood of 19,000 target production tables. And this is literally hundreds of billions of rows of data on a daily basis, many of it even a 5-minute or under basis. But we also deal with vendors that have mainframe technologies that are older than many of us in the room. So we have data that's at both ends of the spectrum. You have this mainframe episodic data, you have modern JSON files, and they come at different frequencies, different times from different places. Now, how do I put it all together? And that's really the magic of what we're talking about here. And why we built this product. A lot of times you'll hear this referred to as ETL, extract, transform, and load, or data enrichment, or data integration. But it's a process of putting together those, spreadsheets, or billion-row files, and getting them to those analysts who do those brilliant things with them, getting to those data scientists who are making incredible products that we all leverage every day. And that's why we were passionate about, partnering and bringing something like this to everybody moving forward so everybody doesn't have to buy commercial software to do this type of thing. So that was our goal. The fact is that things are advancing so quickly. There's so many different technologies available now. If you think about even the world of databases and what's being offered on the cloud, the ecosystem keeps expanding. And everybody should be able to add in the things they need from both a source and target standpoint, from a data manipulation standpoint. And hopefully we're able to offer some things that others can leverage, and others are able to contribute to the product, the things that get a little ahead of the game for us. So I think in the end, we'll all win. If you've done ETL development, we talked about munging the spreadsheets. The left to right, if you think about just charting out what you're trying to do when you put something together, you see sources on the left and targets on the right. This programming interface allows you to start with that same paradigm of, hey, here's the way I think about it, and the solving of that problem really sort of feels the same way in this type of tool. One of the key things to add for the idea of metadata and governance is, in the end of the day, Capital One is a bank. We are a bank that's managing a massive amount of data. So it's absolutely critical for us that we're able to protect the things that need protecting. We're able to understand what's in the fields. We're highly regulated, so we need to manage our data very tightly. So plugging into systems that help us do that and having something that it really gives us a structure to do that in a consistent way is why this is critical for us as a bank. So one of the things that stands out to me is, we've been doing this a long time. We have 10,000 inputs, many tens of thousands of outputs, and we have a lot of logic that we've built up over the years. And we needed a great target to sort of move from and to. We've got a lot of investment in proprietary software. And as we move forward into the cloud, we wanted a great way to translate sort of this legacy we have into a more modern stack. And one of the things that we found is that when we looked at sort of other offerings out there, we weren't able to cleanly translate. If you're familiar with ETL technologies and saw what we had up there, everybody does it a little differently. So some cases you saw the join component. Some companies who offer a join component will only do a two-way join versus a three-way join or a multi-way join. And you always have this problem of, how do I make this fit into my target model? When we looked at this, one of the things was, if we go open source, we can build it exactly the way we want to. We can, we don't have to try to make it fit into somebody else's model or fit into the model that somebody else had laid out. We can do what we need to do to make that transition clean. We can also offer it to others and have them build in the components as well. So as we're starting to look at these new modern stacks, as we move much of our infrastructure to the cloud, these evolving target technologies and source technologies are another big driver. So the idea that we can get there, we can build the interface to the Amazon Redshift database or Cassandra or Mongo or whatever at the speed that we're willing to move, not the speed the vendor is willing to move. So all of that flexibility was a huge part of this decision, in addition to just wanting to be a sort of a good member of the open source community and offer something that others would, we think, can leverage highly. And again, we're hoping that others contribute back to this, and it's a two-way street.